do appreciate their sense of maturity and recognition of the situation and their ability to adapt to the kind of situation that we are in. I want to take this opportunity to also thank our Chancellor and our Board of Trustees members and the members of the University Council. We do appreciate your great wisdom and input in the life of this university. We are grateful to the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, many a time represented by the General Secretary, who is not here with us today, but we have Mrs. Judy Kalinga from AEA who is with us. We do appreciate the role that AEA has played in the life of this institution as our sponsor. Thank you. We also want to recognize parents of our graduates and various stakeholders for the great roles that each has played to enable us to have this auspicious occasion. It is a great opportunity, a great occasion, and the input of each one of us has contributed to this particular time. I want to also thank friends and partners of Africa International University for having continued to work with us. Again, in particular, I want to recognize CLA, Christian Leaders for Africa, for its continued partnership and support, as represented by its president, Mr. Jim Rogers, who is here with us. This has been a year where, as a university, we have had to make various adjustments so as to remain relevant. It has been a year of tremendous challenges. As was mentioned by the chair of council, the entire education sector was closed, and educational institutions were closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But in spite of the challenges of this year, we made adjustments and ensured that our academic programs continued online and virtually so that there is minimal interruption in our calendar. As many of you may recognize, Africa International University started its online programs way back in 2013. And so we have continued on that, and the interruption of the closure of institutions, when it came, our experience in online programs, considering the fact that we had already trained virtually all our faculty to be able to operate online, we are very, very thankful to God that He prepared us beforehand to be able to withstand the storms of the pandemic. Our students exhibited resilience as we transformed our programs to online and virtual teaching, and many have been able to adjust to it. In fact, one of the things that we observed is that because of the online and virtual teaching, we had an increase in the number of postgraduate students that entered into our programs. It looks like that is more convenient for our postgraduate students. Africa International University has continued to remain true to its vision of training Christ-centered leaders. We offer an education that equips learners with effective knowledge and skills and imparts values that inspire quality service to God and to humanity, and transforms the learners to be agents of transformation. Our programs continue to translate dreams into realities. As the student representative has alluded to it, many have come here not knowing if they will ever be able to complete their studies. But their dreams have not been lost, and we are grateful to the Lord. As we move forward as an institution, I want to point out 4 things that we are looking forward to. In terms of our academic programs, we continue to offer quality and competitive academic programs in shaping the present and the future world of innovation, research, and community engagement. Our programs are tailored to deliver a holistic university experience so that our graduates will not merely be academicians, but leaders who are servants and stewards with a Christian worldview. Secondly, in our role as the salt and light in our community, Africa International University has been engaging in mentoring high school students and college students around in the counties that are around here in Nairobi. But in so doing, we are looking at the different phases of life for young people. And we do recognize the challenges that they face as they transition from primary school to high school and eventually to university and to the marketplace. We recognize that we have got something of great value that we can contribute to the lives of these young people. And so as a result, we have expanded our mentorship program so as to reach various high school students in neighboring countries. And I want to congratulate Brighter Monday Kenya, as well as AIU staff and students who have been facilitating the training in mentorship in various schools and colleges. The AJIRA program that is stationed at AIU has continued to help students earn an income as they work online. We thank the Ministry of ICT for their continued support of this particular program as we continue to partner with them and seek for ways to expand this program. In that light, I want to particularly thank one of our lecturers, Mr. Jared Maranga, who has played a key role in the growth of the AJIRA program and the mentoring program. Thirdly, as we seek to grow, in the last few years, we have focused on growing our student population. But we realize that this is getting increasingly difficult due to the inadequate teaching and learning facilities, as well as accommodation facilities for our students. We'll continue to seek for ways to grow our facilities as we appeal to our stakeholders and partners to engage with us in this critical endeavor as we look forward to pushing Africa International University to a new level. And fourthly, the university has recently launched various fundraising campaign initiatives that include the Capital Campaign, which is to enable us to work together towards supporting the less privileged students in our midst, serving as a model for inclusion, for innovation, for inspiration, and most importantly, enhancing the student experience in AIU. You can visit our website for more information concerning the Capital Campaign. Our goal is to ensure that every student that comes to Africa International University is able to graduate. We are also working together with partners on a plan to enhance our medical facilities by building a modern clinic here in AIU to cater for the health needs of our students, our faculty, our staff, and the community around us. We do recognize that we don't have any substantive clinics around here, and it would save not only the university but the community around us a lot of money if we can be able to enhance our current clinic to a much better level. As the chairman of the University Council has mentioned, after completion of phase 1 of the road project, we still plan to have the next phase of lighting the road. It is still relatively dark when you walk along it at night, even though it is now well tarmacked. But we also aim to construct the parking areas that we need so that we don't have to keep parking on the grass, that we can have good places that we can park our cars. And so we again call upon friends, partners, and alumni for their support in this particular area. To the graduating class of 2020, our theme this year has been Transformed to Transform. With the transformed individuals comes a sustainable community and sustainable nations. Transformation is a lifelong process which requires much learning so that one is fully molded to be an agent of transformation. But in the light of that, we do recognize that we are sending you out at a time when the world is faced with numerous challenges, partly attributed to COVID-19. There is economic uncertainty, there are conflicts, there are spiritual challenges that we have around us, and people are desperately looking for something that is stable on which they can be able to hold on. But as you go into this kind of world, our prayer is that you go to serve. And I believe that your years in AIU have been fruitful and rewarding and have prepared you to be creative and resilient in the midst of such challenges. As you graduate, you have the opportunity to help create a better future for your families, your communities, and your nations. And so I wish to challenge you to be authentic and center your lives on Jesus Christ as salt and light in a troubled world, with the recognition that the only solid rock on which you will be able to hold on in turbulent times is Jesus Christ. But I also urge you to go and shine the light of hope to your communities, to model love, to model diligence and community life. I implore you to guard your hearts above all things, to exercise humility as you confront evil, and to be bold in your responsibility to society. I urge you to model integrity in your leadership and champion life-transforming reforms wherever you are. I implore you to be innovative and creative. You have the ability to exploit every part of the new powers that you receive today to the glory of God. May your experiences in the diverse community of Africa International University, your achievements and qualifications shape you into a successful and Christ-centered person. Over the years, since the founding of this institution, a long line of our distinguished alumni across the continents continue to greatly impact communities and nations. Some continue to contribute to the growth of AIU through selfless giving, whether it is financial or material or even ideas. My hope is that as you graduate, you remain an active member of the AIU community as you join our Alumni Association. Ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, our AIU story is a story of God's favor. And I'm confident that God, who has continuously blessed the works of our hands and has brought us this far, will guide us into greater success in the years ahead. I'd like to urge each one of you to be part of the AIU mission and future by sponsoring a student at AIU, by contributing towards the development of AIU, and whichever other way as the Lord leads you. Your participation in building AIU will build a life and contribute to the transformation of our societies and our nations. And finally, dear graduates, the whole university celebrates with you. Today, we are proud of your achievements, but there is much more to do, and today marks the beginning of a new season in your life. As you transition from AIU with the knowledge and skills, may you carry the beauty of integrity and faith in Jesus Christ to enable you to be salt and light wherever you go. I once again congratulate the graduating class of 2020. Thank you all, and may the Lord bless you all. Thank you. It is now my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome the Chancellor of Africa International University, Professor Watson Omlokoli, to address the congregation. Welcome, sir.
Guest speaker, Mr. Nelson Ashtiba, the chairman and members of the Board of Trustees, the chairman and members of the University Council, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Daniel Dunkit Nasuma, faculty, staff members, students, and the alumni of AIU, the graduating class of 2020, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And as I do so, I also welcome you to this joyous celebration as we mark the 35th graduation ceremony of the Africa International University. A graduation ceremony is a special occasion, a time of celebration, of contemplating a new chapter and opening a door into the world of work and all the joys and responsibilities that go with it. It is therefore a great honor to share a few thoughts close to my heart and close the hearts of many Kenyans who are deeply concerned about the future of our world, of our continent, as well as our country. I am happy that we have 202 graduates, and I take this opportunity to proudly congratulate the graduates of 2020 for running the race and successfully completing their studies. The successful completion of university studies is usually an important mark in the life of any individual, whether the qualification is certificate, diploma, or degree at whatever level. It is a demonstration that the holder has attained a new level of knowledge and expertise, and that one is ready to cope with higher professional responsibilities in society elsewhere. It takes great efforts and dedication to achieve this feat. Congratulations, the class of 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought us ravaging misfortunes. Our families, friends, and colleagues were affected in inconceivable proportions. That we are here today celebrating is nothing but the grace of God. Ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 10 years since the Africa International University was elevated and chartered to a university status. The past 37 years of the existence of this institution has had tremendous impact on the lives of those that have passed through this university over the years. Our alumni span all the continents and are bringing transformation in the church, in institutions, and in communities where God has placed them. As Chancellor, I take note that the University Council has progressively instituted necessary policies, management structures, programs, and placed personnel in the university that have increased its ability to operate effectively. Special tribute goes to the faculty and staff who have worked tirelessly to prepare our students for this very moment, especially in these difficult times. You are instrumental in ensuring that the necessary transitions take place for a successful online experience. The administration, together with other stakeholders, have been resourceful in giving much-needed counsel. You exhibited patience and kindness in fostering the realization of our vision as an institution. As AIU community, we are confident that the graduates have necessary resources to fight the war at every level, wherever God puts them in the world, on the continent, in this country, and even in the church. We are confident that our graduates will give poverty-stricken communities a smile through sustainable, life-changing programs and will create opportunities for young people involved in drugs and crimes to get employment and continue to contribute to the nation building. We desire that the church will be shepherded with a high level of value-based stewardship, and that our political and socio-economic situation will change for the good. To the graduates, Africa, and indeed the world at large, is looking for authentic and transformative leadership. The Africa International University has faithfully been committed to building the moral and professional fabric of transformative leadership, both in the church and in the communities in which we live today. Christ-centeredness is what has made the story of AIU unique. Indeed, it is at this point that we are confident that as we release you as a new army of world changers into a world that is in critical need of visionary and transformative leadership, that you have been transformed to transform. The solution to the issues of our country, of our continent, and of our world has been found. You are the solution. Go forth and transform the world. May the Lord bless you as you go forth the class of 2020, and may the Lord bless AIU. The Lord bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Thank you very much, Mr. Chancellor, sir, for those words. It is a privilege for us, each one of us, as we listen to you today. But at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our chief guest for the AIU 35th graduation ceremony. We are privileged and blessed to have Mr. Nelson Ihachi Ashetiva, who is with us here, as our chief guest. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing this ceremony with your presence. Mr. Ashetiva is a man of many hats, with a wide range of experience in various fields within the corporate sector. He's a senior partner and founder of Ashetiva Advocates, LLP, a commercial corporate law firm focused on 3 key pillars of legal practice, that is energy law, financial services law, and technology law. Lawyers are rarely associated with the technology, and so it is an honor to have you with that kind of mix. This year, the firm was ranked as a top-tier firm by Chambers Global, while last year it was ranked as a leading law firm in Africa at the Africa Legal Awards. In 2018, it was declared as the Law Firm of the Year by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. He is an astute lawyer, a business leader, and corporate governance expert with more than 15 years' experience. He has successfully advised organizations to address complex matters regarding board operations, conduct of senior management and directors, and the risk of fraud and crisis management, as well as media and public relationship management. He has also advised on enterprise development, corruption, and non-compliance in both private and public sectors. I think those graduating today might need to consult him after this. He is also a member of several distinguished societies that are both local and international in scope, such as the Law Society of Kenya, the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, the East African Law Society, and the Kenya Christian Lawyers Fellowship. Mr. Ashetiva is also a scholar. He holds a master's in business administration from the University of Nairobi, a postgraduate diploma from the Kenya School of Law, a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Nairobi, and an Associate Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Indeed, we would not have chosen a better chief speaker today to address our graduating class of 2020. Such a speaker who has extended his tentacles so far and wide gives our students access to a wealth of leadership, administrative, and managerial insights that are both inspirational and of world class. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Mr. Nelson Ashetiva to come and address us.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Chancellor, Reverend Professor Watson Mulokoli, the Chair of the Governing Council, Dr. Nelson Kuria, members of the Council, the Chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Sami Mumbi, members of the Board of Trustees, Vice Chancellor, Professor Dankit Nasuma, members of the University Senate, Vice Chancellor from other universities, distinguished church leaders, members of the faculty, graduates, parents, good morning. Congratulations, the AIU class of 2020. Congratulations. Those who are graduating here and those who are graduating from home. Isn't it a wonderful year to graduate within the comfort of your house? You know, perhaps under the duvet with a cup of tea next to you, the aroma of chicken, pilau, and chapati motivating you. Yeah, with your family and perhaps neighbors competing for Wi-Fi. With your graduation ceremony. For most of us, graduation was under the scorching heat of the sun. So it is a great thing that you're graduating from the comfort of your house for those who are at home. We would hire, our relatives and family would hire minibuses and buses all the way from villages like mine is a village in the remote part of Kakamega called Navaholo. And they would come all the way to Nairobi and cause quite a bit of traffic so that they can cheer you on graduating. But now you can graduate from the comfort of your house. Whether you're graduating under the blanket in your sitting room, in the kitchen table, under the tree to conserve your bundles, at your neighbors where the Wi-Fi is stronger, today you have achieved something special. Congratulations. Today you open a new chapter in your book. Today marks a critical beginning of your story. On Tuesday this week, I was privileged to be in the delivery room with my wife as she delivered our dear daughter, Barbara McKenna. Childbirth is not pretty. It is not for the faint-hearted, certainly not for men. We can't handle that level of pain. There were rough and near-death moments where skill, wisdom, resources, and strength were very helpful. But there were also moments which were beyond the doctors and the parents in that room. Moments where God intervened and gave McKenna time and chance. As I witnessed my daughter arrive to this world, I could not help but think about beginnings and endings. Beginnings and endings, the cycle of life. I'm sure your parents still remember your birth like it was yesterday, and it is almost magical for them that you're graduating today. As I welcome McKenna into this world, I can't wait to attend McKenna's graduation, perhaps at AIU. William Shakespeare puts it this way: all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. I wonder if I was advising McKenna on her graduation day, what I would tell her about life. The scripture in Ecclesiastes 9:11 would anchor my message to her as it anchors my message to you this morning. I have observed I've observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner, like Senior Paul Tergat, does not always win the race. And the strongest warrior does not always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance, by being in the right place at the right time. It is all decided by God. The speaker is looking backwards. He is conducting an audit of his life and asking, what does it take to succeed? At AIU, I'm sure 4 years ago when you joined, you had a lot of assumptions about what it takes to succeed. 6 years ago for Wole, you had a lot of assumptions about what it would take to succeed. But if today you were to have a conversation with a freshman, you would have a very different conversation about what really matters. This is therefore the advice from a father to her daughter 22 years ahead of her graduation. I don't know how many of you seek greatness. Anyone? Does anyone here want to be great? Show of hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great thing to desire to be great. Wole talked about great things coming, isn't it? To seek greatness, you must start with the end in mind. I'm passionate about strategy. In fact, I consider myself a legal and business strategist. In strategic management, the rule of the thumb is to begin with the end in mind. How many of you, what is your definition of greatness, rather? What is your definition of greatness? Where do you want to be 10 years from now? Where do you want to live? What role do you want to be playing in the organization? Would you like to be the senior management to make senior management in corporate Kenya? Perhaps a chief executive officer, a chief finance officer, or a chief marketing officer? Perhaps a bishop, perhaps a decorated scholar. Do you desire to earn a 7-figure salary, drive the latest model of luxury cars, marry a loving spouse and have lovely children? Wale is on his way there. And live in the leafy Karen suburbs, these beautiful suburbs? Would you want to take your children to the UK for studies? If these are your dreams, they are good dreams. They are very good dreams. I get it. I desire these things for you too. They are good, but they don't impress me. They are too small. They are not great dreams. They're not dreams of great men and women. If these are your only dreams, class of 2020, the ones who graduated on Wi-Fi and bundles, then it means you have not applied yourself towards deep thinking. It means your dreams are just as good as the dreams of the next person in the streets of Nairobi. They are lazy dreams. It means that there will be nothing remarkable about the class of 2020, which would set you apart from other classes that have graduated before you. If these are your only dreams, then you are yet to start dreaming. If this is the highest level of your dream, then it is impossible to see how you have been transformed to transform. What names come to your mind when you think about great men and women? Does the name Martin Luther King come to your mind? The great symbol of civil movements, civil rights movement? Does that name come to mind? Does the name Wangari Maathai come to mind? The icon of environment conservation? Do you think of Nelson Mandela as a great man? The defender of racial justice? Do you think of Winston Churchill, the Second World hero? Or Mother Teresa, the great philanthropist? Or Steve Jobs, the genius digital inventor? Are these names great men, or are they just great for me? Are they great? I think so. I think they are great men and women. Do you think about the Wright brothers, the ones who defied gravity and invented the airplane? You think about those? Do you think about Albert Einstein, the pillar of modern physics? Do you think about such great people? I do. I think they are great men and women. But the greatest of all those who have walked on earth is our Lord Jesus Christ. I think he was a remarkably great man. So if these are the names that come to your mind as they do come to mine, then what are some of the common denominators that run through all these names? Is it the cars they drove, or the neighborhoods they lived in, or the money in their bank account? I don't think those are the things that come to your mind when you think about these great men and women. And all these things are good, and they'll be added to you. But I think that the common factor with all these great men is that they were catalysts for change. They were catalysts for changing systems, societies, organizations, countries, mindsets, and ultimately changing the whole world. They were not indifferent. They were not cynical. They engaged their minds, time, skill, resources, and were willing to pay the price, even the ultimate price. So be careful if you are thinking of greatness today. If that's what you're asking for, then be careful what you're asking for. If class of 2020 who graduated today, if the plight of the intelligent unemployed youth in this country does not move you, you have not begun dreaming. If the predicament of Kenyans dying of preventable and curable diseases does not concern you, then there's nothing ordinary about you. There's nothing extraordinary about you. If our inability to manage our county government resources does not trouble you, then there's nothing much to celebrate today. Perhaps today is not a big deal. 220 graduates, you said, Chancellor? 220? 202. If 202 graduates from AIU graduate today and walk into the world, will there be a difference? Will anything change? Or is it that we will have more cars and more homes in Runda, more homes in Karen, and more kids from Kenya going to the UK to study? Will anything change about this country? If nothing will change, then today perhaps we should observe strictly the rules and not celebrate too loudly, because it may not be such a big day after all. If your heart does not break every time you pass Kibera, Mukuru, or Mathare slums, then we are wasting bundles attending this function. Yeah? If the culture of corruption and ethnicity does not make you nauseated, then the great graduates of AIU are yet to be born. If the untapped depth and scope of artistic and sports talent in this nation does not worry you, then who will help us? If you cannot imagine yourself transforming our health and care system to make it responsive and adequate to meet our medical needs, then we should not hold our breaths about you, because nothing will change in Kenya after today. If you cannot imagine yourself providing solutions to the high cost of energy that makes our manufacturing industry not competitive globally, then it's just an ordinary day. If you're not able to imagine your role leading the transformation of our education sector, such that the whole world, including the UK, should desire to bring their children here at AIU and other schools in this country, then there's nothing special about today. If we do not have the temerity to reimagine our agriculture, agro-processing, value addition, the waste that happens between the farm and the market, the connectivity of farmers to the market, and inefficiencies that happen there, the storage challenges that our farmers face, if that's not the level at which we are thinking as graduates of the class of 2020, then we've not even begun dreaming. We've not even begun dreaming. We should have the guts, the courage to see our role in building our country. We are the ones that Kenya has been waiting for, to bring sanity to our matatu industry. We are the answer to the affordable quality housing, the silver bullet that will entrench value-based leadership in our private and public organizations. To seek greatness, you must develop a thick skin. Seeking greatness can be synonymous with courting trouble. This is a second denominator that runs through all the great people that we've mentioned. Trouble followed them left, right, and center. I do not wish for you trouble, disappointment, but disappointment will come. I do not wish you loss, but loss will come. I do not wish you hardships, but hardships will come. You will not have 100% control of what happens to you, but you will have 100% control of how you respond to it. If you handle the hardships well, your perceived failure or adversity can become a catalyst for profound reinvention. Christ our Lord himself suffered greatly and died a lonely death on the cross before he vanquished the enemy and rose again. The path to greatness is paved with adversity. Those who show grit and strength to convert adversity into opportunity will be among these greats. To seek greatness is to demand courage of yourself. A third common feature that each of these greats had: it takes great courage to bring transformation. Changing the structure, culture of an organization, a family, a person, a nation, an industry, a city, a country, or the world is one of the most dangerous ventures that you will ever undertake, if that is your intention to do that. If you are dissatisfied with the status quo, then it means that you need courage to transform the status quo. I'm impressed by my friend Jim Rogers. They mentioned that, he has contributed significantly to the construction of the road, and it looks really beautiful, Chancellor. It looks very beautiful, Vice Chancellor. Good job. And the guest to the faculty who also has contributed significantly to the programs in this university, Mr. Paul Terregat, and his contribution towards our sports and in the business sector. I knew him and his wife when they had a very robust business next to Parkland's campus in the early 2000s. So the great contribution that he has made towards sports, seeking to leave this world, the industries and the organizations that we work for, better than we found them. One of the things that I ask interviewees when they come for an interview in our organizations, the organizations that I serve in, is what have you done in the organization that you worked in before that contributed to the progress of that organization? And it is the same thing that I would challenge you to consider. That in any organization that you go into, in any space that you come into, what is your burden towards making a positive contribution? That at the end of your time there, they will say that, Mr. Wole came into this organization when we had this and this and that problem, and when he left, this is the kind of impact that he left. To seek greatness is to demand of yourself a higher level of excellence than is required of those who stop at good or average. It demands that you must invest in sharpening your skill and your understanding of the subject matter. Many times, I consider the members of the first cabinet of the independent government with nostalgia, the young Mwai Kibaki, the young Tom Mboya, the young Kenneth Matiba, the young Sir Charles Njonjo. If you listen to some of their speeches, you will realize that they were very knowledgeable about their subject matter. But unfortunately, I cannot say the same of the quality of our leaders, the leaders that are my generation. We criticize, and it's okay to criticize, but stopping at criticizing does not help in any way. What alternative are we offering that is well-researched, well-structured to actually make efficient, effective change into whatever spaces that we talk about, whether it is health, whether it's agriculture, whether it's education, whether it's transport, whether it's energy, whether it's defense, whether it's internal security. It is always easier to blame and to point fingers and to, insult leaders on social media. They say that social media is the only place where, a class 3 dropout can insult a PhD holder like those who are graduating today. It's the only place where they can do that. Yet, not recognizing how much investment has gone into the position that the PhD holder has. So as we seek for a better Kenya, are we willing to actually invest in some deep thinking? As I mentioned, childbirth is not pretty. Building foundations is also not pretty. But great structures require that level of depth. And the deeper the foundation, the higher the structure. Having begun with the end in mind, having been strong in the face of adversity, having been swift, wise, skillful, and full of understanding, we must appreciate that our times and chance are ultimately in his hands. We must walk humbly and obediently with him. We must lean on him to perceive correctly the chances that may look mundane and ordinary. It was an ordinary day when a boy called David was called from the fields by an old man and was anointed to be the next king of Israel. It was an ordinary day when that boy was sent to deliver lunch to his brothers, yet this turned out to be his appointment with destiny. Don't underestimate the time and chances that life deals you. Your ability to make good use of those time and chances is also predicated on the fact that you are skillful, you are wise, you are full of understanding. So, they say that luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. David had prepared to face Goliath. It's just that he didn't know the time and actually the opponent. He didn't know. But he was busy building skill out there fighting the lions and the bears. So skill is important. Wisdom is important. Understanding is important. Agility is important. But it's not everything. There's a component, there's a God component, there's a God factor that conspires to give you time and chance. We should be able to receive time and chance. Today's ceremony is a rite of passage from those who complain and those who blame others to a breed of new Kenyans who are solution-oriented. Our grandparents fought against colonialism and prevailed. Our parents fought for democracy and the Bill of Rights and prevailed. What will the legacy of our generation be? What will we tell our children that we stood for and prevailed? My view is that the third and urgent liberation or economic justice that is required in Kenya is economic justice. Though I'm not a prophet, neither do I come from a line of prophets. In fact, the closest my family came to a prophet is my uncle, who was a rainmaker. Nonetheless, I foresee that the next liberation will also be a spiritual liberation. And class of 2020, you must meet this need too when the time comes, and the time is now. You will know that you are great if you rise to your responsibilities as sons and daughters of this nation, because time and chance is calling, destiny beckons. I invite you to begin to imagine a better Kenya. Therefore, instead of seeking positions, titles, and salaries, I urge you to seek responsibilities. Seek opportunities to transform the organizations which you work for, and all these things shall be added to you. You will be entrusted with one client or one file. Do such a great job to the extent that you'll be entrusted with more. And soon, with the entire department. And then the entire organization. Perhaps an entire ministry. Perhaps even an industry. And later on, perhaps the nation, and perhaps the continent. Begin to imagine your role in transforming our country, not through blaming and insulting leaders, but by providing substantive alternatives for transformation. Are there problems in this country which break your heart? Are there opportunities that you can see for this nation which give you sleepless nights? What potential does our country possess which is so clear to you, but for the rest of us, we are blind to it, or indifferent, or even cynical about it? What grieves you about your motherland? What do you see that she doesn't see? If you're in this state where you are grieved, you are angry about something, you are passionate or excited about something that will give Kenya a better future, then I would say you are ready for this rite of passage. You are ready to go into the world and make a difference. And if you don't have that burden, I urge you to pray about it. Ask God to give you a burden for this country, such that your heart will not be at peace until that burden has been lifted. David was so angered when he went into the field and saw Goliath insulting the army of the living God. And this is a young boy. He was full of anger. And that was the burden that God gave him to defend the nation of Israel, to fight for it. And in different seasons, your role may change, but your character should never change. The pillars of the fruit of the Holy Spirit should remain your true north, your internal compass. In whatever role, whatever situation, whatever relationships, whatever organizations that you work in or you work for. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and he saw the man. He passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged him, his wounds, pouring oil on and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have incurred. Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? This story reminds me of our country, Kenya. It reminds me of our continent, with great promise and a great destination, attacked by robbers, stripped of her clothes, beaten, and left for dead. What will this class of 2020 do about it? What will you do about our dilapidated state of healthcare? What will you do about our dilapidated state of education, infrastructure, governance? What will you do about it? Shall you be grieved by Kenyans' potential? Shall you pay the price needed to make this country whole? Or shall you mind your own business as you go towards your Range Rover and your house in Runda and international healthcare for your family and international school for education for your kids? Will you leave Kenya bleeding to death as you go for those things? I think COVID has reminded us that our motherland is important, that our institutions are important, that we all win when we invest in our institutions. We all win when we build our country. We are all richer when we have a great public infrastructure. Do we just send cynical memes on social media about the nudity of our nation? Shall we say that someone else should fix this mess? Shall you and I blame others and do nothing about it? I dare you to be the catalyst of transformation which this country has been groaning for in bated anticipation for the arrival and manifestation of the class of 2020. I dare you to be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ashitiva. I now invite you all to stand with me as we sing together the hymn, Count Your Blessings, which encourages us to shift our gaze away from ourselves and our problems and issues, and instead to gaze upon our Lord Jesus Christ and the many blessings that we enjoy in Him. You will find the words to this on page 35 at the back of your program.
Discouraged, thinking all is lost. Count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. When you look at others with their lambs and gold, think that Christ has promised you his wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy your reward in heaven or your own on high. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. So amid a conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done.
You may be seated. I now invite our Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Research, Professor Samuel Katia, to present the candidates for graduation.
Will all the candidates graduating today please stand? Okay. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I hereby present to you 202 candidates for graduation today. 9 for Doctor of Philosophy, 2 for Doctor of Ministry, 35 for Masters in various programs, 4 for postgraduate diplomas, 119 for bachelor's programs, 32 for diploma programs, 1 for a certificate program. I certify that these candidates have completed all the requirements prescribed for the particular programs in which they were admitted, trained, examined, and have been approved by the university graduation, by your university senate for graduation. Congratulations. I now call upon the Dean, the Acting Dean, School of Education, Arts, and Social Sciences, SEAS, represented by Dr. Josh Mutua. Dean, Nairobi Evangelical School of Theology, Professor James Nkasa, Dean, School of Business, SB, Professor Warue, to represent the candidates to you. Thank you.
Will the candidates for the program Doctor of Philosophy in Education please stand?
Please be seated.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, in the year 2020, the following 5 candidates whom I have the honor to present to you satisfied the University Senate for the conferment of Doctor of Philosophy in Education of Africa International University. May the PhD candidates, escorted by their supervisors, please walk forward as I call your names. Thank you. Doctor of Philosophy, Education, Leadership, and Administration, graduating in absentia, Chukuma Victor Priest. Dissertation topic, the effects of work-related stress on workers' performance in Christian institutions of higher education, supervised by Professor Rosemary Mbogo and Dr. Josh Mutua.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Curriculum and Instruction, Maina Mercy Wangeshi Kanyingi, Kenya. Dissertation topic, factors contributing to change of program of study among first-year undergraduate students in Kenyan universities, supervised by Professor Rosemary Mbogo and Dr. Josh Mutua, escorted by Dr. Francis Kangala.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Church Education, Makoha Simon Haemba, Kenya. Dissertation topic, Strategies Employed by the Church in Fostering Positive Moral Development of Students in the Church-Sponsored Secondary Schools, a case of select churches in Kenya, supervised by Professor Rosemary Mbogo and Dr. Josh Mutua, escorted by Dr. Alice Mambo.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Child Development and Family Studies, Muigai Jacinta Wamboi, Kenya. Dissertation topic, Effects of Social Media Interaction on Self-Identity Among Students in Public Secondary Schools in Nairobi County, Kenya. Supervised by Dr. Josh Mutua, Professor Rosemary Mbogo, escorted by Dr. Mercy Mauki.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, to which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Child Development and Family Studies, Muteti Rachel Mbula, Kenya. Supervised by Professor Rosemary Mbogo, Dr. Josh Mutua, escorted by Dr. Alice Mambo.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for which you have been admitted, trained, and examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. God bless.
Congratulations. Please be seated.
Program, Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, please stand. Mr. Chancellor, sir, in the year 2020, the following 4 students, candidates whom I have the honor to present to you, satisfied the University Senate for the conferment of Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies of Africa International University. May the candidates come forward with your supervisors as I call your name. Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, Theology and Development Concentration, Adebele Peter Oluwole, Nigeria. Dissertation topic, Contextual Political Theology of Development, a case study of traditional political thoughts and practices and their implication for development. Supervised by Professor James Nkansa Brimpong and Dr. Cecily Mbura Murithi, escorted by Professor Jampa.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, for which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. God bless.
Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, Theology and Development Concentration, Muhati Alan Isiaho, Kenya. Dissertation topic, Human Rights and Justice in Contemporary Burundi, a quest for a contextualized theology of development in Twa community. Supervised by Professor James Nkansa Obrimpong and Dr. Cecily Murithi, escorted by Professor Samuel Ngewa.
By the authority vested in me by the Africa International University Charter of 2011, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, for which you have been admitted, trained, examined, and approved by the University Senate, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Doctor of Philosophy in Theological Studies, Systematic Theology, Concentration, Chesosi Boniface Kimutai, Kenya. Dissertation topic, The Intermediate State of Death from the African Perspective, Challenges and Remedies in its interpretation with reference to the church ministers and Christians of Anglican Church, Kitale Diocese, Saboti Dinari. Supervisors, Professor James Nkanso Brimpong and Professor John Palm. Escorted by Professor John Palm.
Geisha aloe vera and honey, made with the goodness of aloe vera to calm and refresh your skin.
Be strong and last long.
Borrow an emergency fund and save for a new home with our long-term, short-term, business and group loan products. We will help you meet your goals. Call us today on 0703 024 000.
We are a reflection of you. We are a stable, financially sound institution providing tailor-made services to add value to your life, time, and money. We are guided by your aspiration. We are Stima Sacco, a true reflection of you.
Benefits of African Oolong tea. Good for slimming without side effects. It should be used with hot water only, no sugar or milk. It helps to reduce the rate of aging. It cuts back the infectivity of bacteria and makes weight loss easier.
African Oolong tea is a proudly Kenyan tea brought to you by Akman Limited. It's available in all leading supermarkets, chemists, gift shops, and Jumia online. To place an order or get in touch with us, contact us on the listed address on your screen.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. 1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, come through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Come through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can open an account and lipa pole pole at your convenience? Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can get customized sizes according to your roof plan to avoid wastage? Did you know Ruiru Mabati Factory offers free delivery countrywide within 72 hours?
To order, call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, Mali Safi kwa bei poa. The Nation Media Group 254 Realty and Homes Expo is back, discussing property investment and home ownership. Join us on 27th and 28th November 2020 at the Sarit Center Expo Center as we engage with property developers and investors, financiers, contractors, insurers, roofing solution providers, ceramic and interior designers, land dealers, and investment solution providers, among others. To sponsor, exhibit, and for inquiries, please contact 0721 678 597 or email property@ke.nationmedia.com.
NTV, turning on your world.